Something new is on the horizon. At first, there may be some wonder about just what it may be. But now I can tell you that AstroDyne RS is an easy-to-use software system that presents classical astrology with such clarity that most people who desire to know begin to catch on and understand almost right away. Birth-time astrology is a complex subject, and it takes time and practice to master. There are many books that provide information and wisdom on the subject, but now, with AstroDyne RS, all of the calculations are so complete that much of the content of any horoscope becomes crystal clear when it is presented as precise, colored time graphs. Each graph spans 1 year of time. One picture is worth 1,000 words. Behind each colored graph, there are many calculations and a lot of detail, but still, each item has a score for power, which tells us how important it is, and a score for harmony or discord, which tells us how easy or difficult it is to turn these factors to a better outcome. The astrodyne is the unit of astrological power. The harmodyne is the unit of astrological harmony. The building blocks of the astrological language, when considered separately, are each quite simple concepts, and AstroDyne RS describes each of these with a power and a harmony score. For example, you will learn about 12 planets. We call the Sun, the Moon, the midheaven, and the ascendant horizon planets for convenience. Each of these dynamics represents a family of thought types. We could go on to consider other building blocks of astrological concepts. There will be 12 signs, there will be 12 mundane houses, and 10 aspect types. These are angular distances between the planets as they circle the Sun. Each of these keywords can be more broadly extrapolated to cover a number of related topics, but still, the basics of each can be described in just a paragraph. When you use AstroDyne RS, you have a power and a harmony score for each of these which are already calculated for you. Let us talk about just one item at this time. We will consider just the Sun for now. When you understand the concept of the Sun, you will be able to go on to understand the way to deal with each of the other topics also. If the Sun has a high power score, you can regard it as more important. A higher percentage of the thoughts and events will relate to Sun matters. Sun-related thoughts include dealings with important or powerful people, dealings that relate to male persons in general. The concept covers how you handle your own power and authority over others, and your importance and prominence with others. It also relates to your vitality. High harmony means that Sun matters are dealt with easily, and discord tends to more difficulty. I'm not talking about failure. Rather, I'm talking about how easy it is to succeed. Sometimes we succeed even when it is difficult. This is a lot more like psychology than fortune telling. Astrology is not fortune telling, and the future is not written in stone. You have free will, and we can all succeed or fail in any endeavor. But it can be helpful if we know in advance what we can expect to face if nothing special is done to deal with the potential situation. With just this little bit of detail, we would already be able to confidently say many things about anybody's Sun once we have the AstroDyne scores. In a similar way, we can say something about every dynamic in the horoscope. AstroDyne RS covers the birth chart, but it also covers the progressed chart, where the planets move all of the time, and we can talk about particular changes and circumstances for each and every day in the life. We'll express all of this variable power and harmony in a graphic picture that is intuitively easy to key into because it's a picture. I want to show you how you can begin to catch on and have some understanding almost right away. We are going to look at a few graphs for the minor reinforced power. This series of graphs helps tell us about when to expect certain types of events. There are other graphs used to tell us the importance of events, and still another type of graph that measures the expected harmony of certain types of events. So please remember that our focus here is only upon when to expect events of the type we are interested in. Events may happen at other times, but also the focus here is to discover the most likely time when events will transpire. But more precisely, it tells you when the astrological environment is most predisposed to these types of events. All such events may not happen just as the astrological energy peaks, but as the graph rises, the potential for these types of events is increasing. All of this should be matched to the physical environment, which should never be ignored. For example, it is very much easier to get wounded during a battle, and it's much easier to have difficulty driving if there is a dangerous storm. Often events will transpire when we actually commence to take action, and this is something where free choice has an effect on timing. Perhaps you want to know about romance and relationships. So we will look at the graph for the 7th house to learn about our potential partners. That would be the tan-colored line near the bottom of the graph. We will also look at the graph for the 5th house to describe romance and entertainment and fun. This is the orange line near the middle level. Notice how these lines peak near September 17th and again near December 21st. The sun, the orange line, tells us about men, and the moon, the green line near the bottom, tells us about women. So we can describe something about our relations with the opposite sex. Venus, the yellow line, tells us about affections, and Mars, the red line, tells us about passion. These are dynamics that tell us about our attractions. Let's move on now to another subject. Perhaps you want to know about money matters. The yellow graph line for the 2nd house tells you about your possessions. Notice the peaking energy between November 6th and November 16th. Perhaps you want to know about your health. The 6th house graph, the purple line near the bottom, tells you about sickness. The 1st house graph, the red line, tells you something about your health in general. Are you beginning to get the picture? With just a little study, you can refer to the appropriate time graph and get an understanding about many topics of interest. No, you would not likely be an expert, but you will already be able to say many things about the horoscope based on solid statistics in the graphs and tables that AstrodyneRS provides for you. You can test your discoveries against the truth as you know it. You do not need to operate on blind faith. Skeptical inquiry will help tell you if these things ring true. To find out more, please visit our website www.AstrodyneRS.com. You will see examples of the wide array of colorful graphs and informative tables that give a very full and detailed professional grade information about any horoscope. There is also a video there that shows AstrodyneRS being used in real time. The intuitive presentation and the statistical precision provided by AstrodyneRS sets it apart as the best astrology software for professionals and students alike. We will try to answer any questions you may have at contacthelp@AstrodyneRS.com. Thank you.